I have covered wildland fire as a journalist in one capacity or another for probably 25 years, getting close to it. I remember as a cub reporter going out and covering wildland fires in western North Carolina, which is not a place where you think of that burns. And it's an ecosystem that's very different from here in a lot of ways. And being really intrigued by that, though, and the sort of the natural role of fire in those places, and stories about the big burns that came through and what those were all about. When I moved to the West, the level just went up. I mean, it suddenly, this is the West, it's a major, major issue here. And I was doing a lot of environmental reporting, and it's pretty hard to not do work on public lands and start talking about fire. But one of the things that really I found challenging was that the reporting that I saw on wildland fire in particular seemed to be very, very one-dimensional. It was very event-based. It was tremendously formulaic. This number of acres are burning. This is the percentage of containment. These are the number of structures that have been burned. Has anyone been injured? What's the weather going to be like? Bang, end of story, big picture of flames. Like, okay, but how do we get here? Wait, wasn't fire part of this landscape? How did tribes use fire? What about climate change? All of these things fed these real fundamental questions for me.
Some of the fire research that we're doing is really looking at how Oregon media is covering wildfires here within the state. So we're collecting all of the media coverage from 2013 to current day to see if there are any changes in how wildfire is being covered. So to see if there are connections to climate change being mentioned, if people are thinking about this in a positive or a negative way, to think about how people are recommending that we respond as citizens and decision makers, and also just to see what kind of scientific information is being used in the media to inform people's decisions. So what we're hoping to do with that information is actually create information and curriculum that would be available to journalists that actually answers the questions that they have about wildfire, using the science that we're producing here at home.
If we can figure out how to get good, accurate information in advance, then we're doing a better public service and protecting communities and protecting life and property than we would if it's all after the fact. I'd much rather manage an issue than manage a crisis.
I think one of the beautiful things about fire and doing this work is that it's pretty hard to deny. I mean, a fire is a fire. People have to deal with it in some way, whether it's deciding to maybe let it burn in a couple of cases, but if there's a population and the fire is near them, we need to make decisions about what to do about that, and everyone can pretty much agree on that.